This week on TGC News, a new challenger for caliber supremacy is here. Savage and Magpul drop new hotness, and Sig Sauer Germany is closing down. TacPack is an enthusiast subscription service that is focused on bringing you the stuff you need straight to your door on a monthly basis. Every month is different, and you can be met with gun parts, accessories, cleaning gear, or even some bigger and cooler shenanigans. And because you're subscribed to TGC, if you use the code TGCBAG over at TacPack.com, you'll get a free grab bag with your next order. Welcome back to another episode of TGC News, the only gun news show that covers things you actually care about. My name is Jon Patton. We missed last week's show because, quite frankly, there was nothing going on and I didn't want to waste your time. The gun world has rewarded us for doing that by bringing us a ton of stuff to cover this week. First up, something that has me extremely excited, a new caliber, a new cartridge to shoot. It's widely accepted that when it comes to peak performance of the AR15, the 5.56, the sort of standard round for the platform, just isn't the best that the world has to offer. The problem is that we've ended up with a swirling vortex of compromises. The 300 Blackout doesn't have enough balls on the top end, but subsonic, it's awesome. The 6.5 Grendel is a great round, but not the best when you're trying to hit beyond 1,000 yards. The 50 Beowulf, my personal favorite, is just a big old hammer that is not a precision offering. And there are tons of calibers in between. Not to mention the one that left a really bad taste in my mouth, the 224 Valkyrie. The caliber that was supposed to bring the AR-15 to another level, and due to a dump truck load of inconsistencies and unanswered questions, it just didn't. In fact, I remember having a conversation with Chad from IV8888 a while back about our issues with the Valkyrie, and he told me that the next best AR round was gonna be a 6mm. That was well over a year ago. Fast forward, and Hornady has decided to try their hand at a cartridge that they claim offers the best performance you can pull out of the AR-15 platform to date. It's called the 6mm ARC, or Advanced Rifle Cartridge, and it comes out of a request from the U.S. Department of Defense. They were searching for a setup that was lighter than their 308 loadout, and Hornady decided to sort it out by cranking up the AR-15 another notch. I'm really excited here, but I'm going to try to boil this down for you guys. First, let's cover the specs. On launch, there will be 2 loads available, with one coming in the fall, all from Hornady. There is a 105 grain black, which uses a boat tail hollow point and sends it down range at about 2,750 feet per second. Then there's the ELD match, which uses a 108 grain tipped bullet going about the same 2750 FPS. And later, the precision hunting line will use a 103 grain ELDX expanding bullet at about 2,800 feet per second. Compare that to the Valkyrie with its heaviest bullet, the 90 grain Sierra Match King, which had a muzzle velocity of 50 feet per second less. A 90 grain going 50 feet per second less. Also compare it to the larger AR-10 and bolt gun cartridge, 6mm Creedmoor, which slings the same bullets at only 210 feet per second faster out of a bigger cartridge. So the ARC has a heavier bullet than other AR-15 cartridges, and they've cranked it up to higher speeds. That is the kind of stuff that I'm excited about. Not only that, but because the 6mm bullet offerings are so good, that means the ARC, at least on paper, will maintain velocity and have a flatter trajectory to extended ranges. Hornady is also claiming that it will have 54% less recoil than a 308. Note that they also admit that it has 73% more than a 223. In terms of mag capacity, a 30-rounder will supposedly hold 25 rounds, which is outstanding. Alternatively, they say this will perform well in all of the mini-action bolt guns that are popping up. In terms of guns chambered for the new cartridge, obviously that's something I always talk about. You gotta have both. They've worked with a bunch of brands to get a whole ton of options going. I'll rattle off a few that you guys will know. Brownells, link in the description. Barrett, CMMG, Adams Arms, Geisley, Wilson Combat, Howa, Mossberg, and a bunch of others. In that way, it reminds me a lot of the Valkyrie launch. Big hype, lots of expectations, and then that cartridge just failed to live up to them. And because of that, I will maintain some really healthy skepticism with this one. Rounds are going to be selling for a little over $1 a piece, so this certainly won't be the next budget option, but if the specs hold true and the gun companies can deliver accuracy, this will be the new hotness in 2020.
Old and busted, new hotness.
Finally, something cool from 2020. I want to know what you guys think. Are you excited? Are you skeptical? Are you flat out calling BS on the claims? Are you still hoping the Valkyrie will live up to that initial hype? Sound off in the comments, and let's talk about it. How about a couple more new things? You guys like new stuff, right? I look at Savage as sort of a more affordable or budget brand. That's my perspective on them. Much like I would with Ruger, the same way. Good quality, but certainly not a high-end brand. It looks like Savage is trying to make me question that because they've partnered with a high-end barrel maker, Proof Research, on the new 110 ultralight. It's another take on the sort of rugged, lightweight hunting rifle that we've seen popping up as sort of a new segment within the last 12 months. It's certainly getting a lot more attention from brands. I'll keep this one brief. It's going to be available in 8 different calibers: .308, .270, .28 Nosler, .280 Ackley, .30-06, .300 Wisdom, .65 Creedmoor, and PRC. Barrel lengths of 22 or 24 inch depend on the caliber you choose. They say that these are factory blueprinted actions tied to the known for accuracy Proof barrels. Plus, the Savage AccuFit stock is pretty nice, so I'm betting this will be a solid gun. But it should be for the MSRP of $14.99. Also new this week is something I didn't expect for Magpul: MP5 accessories. I guess with the huge amount of semi-auto variants and clones and the introduction of the HK SP5, this actually makes a lot of sense now. The selection they've released includes a short and long version of their SL handguard with M-LOK slots at the 3, 6, and 9 positions, and a built-in hand stop. There's also the ESK, or Enhanced Selector Kit, which is basically an ambi safety selector. And then there's also the SL grip module, which changes the grip angle and texture and sort of replaces the bottom of the gun. I'm curious to know how much of a difference it has versus the factory SP5 variant. Either way, the handguards and the ESK go for about $50 and the grip module for $60. How about some Gundistry news? First, pistol maker STI Firearms has officially changed their name to Staccato. For those that are out of the loop, Staccato is actually the model name of a bunch of their guns. It's a line of their guns called Staccato. So they changed their name to represent a model name. It's kind of strange. The whole thing is just weird. I'm sure there's a good chunk of the public that associates the term STI with sexually transmitted infection, and I know there's another chunk that associate it with Subaru Technica International, so maybe a change is in order. But the STI name carried a lot of weight, so I'm sure this decision didn't come lightly. Hey, STI, if you're watching, what gives? Their press release didn't really explain at all. Another name change comes from the American Outdoor Brands family. We talked not too long ago about the decision to split AOB and Smith & Wesson into separate brands, and now it seems they're doing that on Wall Street as well with the introduction of a new trading symbol and brand name, Smith & Wesson Brands Incorporated. Like I've said in the past, this is likely because they want investors to feel warm and fuzzy about not spending money on a gun company. It also sheds light on where they plan to go as a total brand. Transcending beyond guns is tough, and they seem to be doing it. And rounding out industry news, Sig Sauer Germany is closing down. Yeah, the German arm of the company has run into far too many financial and legal issues, and they will be laying off 130 people and shutting the doors. It's important to note here that the U.S. version of Sig Sauer operates as a separate entity under the same parent company, so they say that they will not be affected, at least on the surface, by this. Shout out to anyone that owns a German-made SIG because it just went way up in value.
NeoMag offers so much more than a slick solution for discreetly carrying mags, with products like the RASC, which means Revolver Ammunition Strip Concealment, so folks that carry wheel guns don't have to have the bulk of a regular speed loader in their pocket. There's also the Sentry Strap, which allows you to cleanly stage your rifle sling using a slick magnetic solution. And now they've expanded the NeoMag line. Not only do you have the single magnet originals, but now you have the dual magnet Type G, made for Glock mags or holding other mags more securely. And you can still choose from black or silver, extended, and standard size pocket clips. If you want to be the gray man, this is your brand. To get 10% off your entire order, use our code TGC2020 at theneomag.com.
It's time now for more Friendly Fire, the segment where I answer questions from our loyal Subscribe Star supporters. Hit the link in the description to find out more about that. First up, Robert Getkin says, what's the best option for a big bore AR-15? 458, 450, or 50 Beowulf? Despite my personal love for 50 cals, the 458 wins hands down because it is so much more common and way more folks make ammo for it. Enfember, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, says, what are your thoughts for 460 Smith & Wesson versus 10mm for hunting? I think that really largely depends on what you're hunting. I mean, the 460 is way more powerful of a cartridge, so if I want brute force, that's the way I'm going to go. If I want round count, I'll go with the 10. William Moonen says, what's your favorite big bore handgun caliber? Probably the 500 Magnum. The 50 AE is a boatload of fun. I love the Desert Eagle and the 50 AE, but the 500 is just a big hammer. Also, Grande says, what's your opinion of the Banshee series from CMMG, especially the 10mm? I love those guns. However, we have a 10mm and had a couple issues with it, but we are working on getting that sorted out. Thanks COVID for making this take forever, and we will have a video on that soon. And Matthew Bennon says, what's your drink of choice after a long day at work? I included this because I thought it'd be fun. My go-to is a lightweight drink called Framboise by Lindemans. It's a Belgian lambic beer that is just delicious. It's raspberry juice basically turned into a beer. It's really good. Alternatively, Smoke Wagon Bourbon and Pepsi is my jam. That stuff is so good. Shout out to Aaron, the owner of Smoke Wagon, because he's actually a friend of TGC and a legit gun guy. If you guys don't know about Smoke Wagon, go check them out. They didn't pay for any promo. I love what they do. My friendly fire question to you guys. Given the current state of the US, what is something that you want to buy but haven't yet to help defend yourself or your family? Are we talking night vision, body armor, more ammo, more guns? I want to know what you guys are thinking right now, how you're feeling about the current state. So sound off in the comments and let me know. Let's talk about it. If you want to ask a friendly fire question, hop over to Subscribe Star and support us directly over there. That's where we get our questions from. And that is it for this week's show, guys. If you like this video, hit that button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. If you enjoyed what we're doing here and you want to see more, please get subscribed if you think we've earned it. As always, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon. Yep, it's over, but don't worry, you can click on the video up top to watch last week's show, and the one below that is the one that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. Check them out and let me know what you think.